Light and Shadow, a podcast about the complex themes presented in the horror genre. I'm your host, Nicole, and it's time to share another dark tale.
It's November 1st, the most depressing day of the year for horror fans. Earlier this week, we went to Halloween Horror Nights with friends and special guest White Collar Sideshow, and we're here to give you one last sprinkle of spooky before we have to move on with the holiday season.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you are about to enter a world of darkness, a world where life and death are meaningless.
Okay, so before we get into the details of Halloween Horror Nights, tell the people a little bit about yourself, what you guys do, who you are.
Well, I'm Veronica. This is my husband of almost 19 years, T. And
hi, I'm T.
That's T. We, for the last 13 years, have been part of a project we created called White Collar Sideshow. It's a traveling music show, which audio, visual, lights, performance.
Yes, I like to call it performance art is what I call it.
It's more performance art than a band, but I guess if you say it's a band, then people will kind of have an idea of where we are, what we're doing. But
I like to call it shock and roll.
Yes.
We do. We do call it shock and roll. And so we've been touring full-time for 11 years. We've touched 19 countries and 46 states together. My bucket list is to hit all 50. I don't have a country amount that I want to hit, but I would like to hit all 50 states with him since we're so close. So close. But yeah, that's what we do. We live on this planet to love and serve people and try to bring light into really dark places.
And so I've been friends with Team Veronica it's been almost 20 years, you guys. I was thinking about it. I was like, that's crazy. I first met T when I was a teenager, and he worked at a music store that I shopped at. And then over the years, we've gotten to know each other really well, and they're basically family. When I go back home to visit family, T and Veronica are always there. And we all love horror. We're all big horror nerds, and we almost never get to spend the holiday together.
Yeah, this was a cool holiday.
Yeah.
And you have also done t-shirt designs for us, album cover designs for us.
Yes, that's true. I keep forgetting about that. But yeah, you guys, in my very early days of design, totally gave me a chance to do some cool stuff with you. And so that's been great. It's been great. So friends, family, collaborators, you name it. That's what we are. So I am so stoked that you guys just happened to be in Florida for Halloween, and we got to, Veronica and I kind of plotted, and we surprised T with a trip to Halloween Horror Nights.
I love it when you guys plot. I've always wanted to go, and usually, since we're musicians, and obviously our show is shock and roll, we're usually booked on Halloween, so this was an interesting... Yeah. It's been an interesting last 3 years because we were filming the film that goes behind our live show, and then also we were off putting an album together while we were filming, so we weren't booked the last couple of years. But prior to that, about 4 years in a row, we were performing at the House of Shock in New Orleans on Halloween, which is a super rad haunted house, basically, or houses, a super spook place. And so I was excited to go to the Halloween Horror Nights to kind of compare.
Because House of Shock has kind of always been our pinnacle of the haunted houses. It's Hollywood quality. It's amazing. It's 3 houses in one. They shoot off $10,000 of pyro twice a night. They do this pre-show before they let people in the house. It's amazing. And so that was always like our epic haunted house experience, and it was epic. That they sold after 25 years to another company, and so I'm not sure how the other one is doing, but House of Shock was always our standard.
And performing there for so many years, like a lot of the actors and characters and the people involved became kind of our family too.
Right. Yeah.
Which was really awesome.
More spooky family.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So you've been wanting to go to Halloween Horror Nights forever. So did it live up to your expectations? And like, what was your first reaction like when you walked in and saw the chaos?
I texted my little sister to tell her we were there, and I was like, it's completely lived up to the hype. Like, it was above and beyond expectation to be able to go in at night. And I love that they kept it dark.
Yeah.
Like, it's just the Halloween, the Christmas lights, but Halloween colors essentially.
Right.
And that was so fun to feel like you've just been transported into a horror theme park. It was like a dream theme park for us.
I felt like which is strange because you feel like as you're getting older in life, you might not have the excitement level or, we've been through all of these haunted houses before, but it was almost like going to a concert. Like as soon as, you're lined up against the gate and the doors, the doors are opening or the lights go down and the band comes on. So of course the music started up and everybody's rushing through to kind of go where their map is taking them. And our first one, we went to the House of a Thousand Corpses haunted house, which was all the way at the end of the park.
Right.
But we went there first. And of course I've watched that movie numerous times. And it was, when you go into a haunted house, all the characters were the same, they built it around the film. So I thought that was pretty cool. And it's similar to what I was expecting. But when I got there, I was so giddy. Like, they've got the Captain Spaulding gas station sign. And, but it was super cool. And there wasn't a ton of people there at first. So we got to really kind of go in and not be pushed through, basically. But I loved it. I loved the way they had the scare zones. I love the guys that were on stilts that were waving their clubs around.
Those characters were always so cool.
I thought it was cool that we didn't feel pushed through any of them. Like, honestly, I felt like we got an individual experience in each house, even though there were a ton of people there. I mean, it was a slower night, but still the fact that we were able to enjoy it and get the scares and not just feel like you're just rushing through it like as cattle pushing through.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. And we've been several times. I think this is maybe our 4th or 5th time to go. And I definitely saw a change this year as far as I feel like there were less jump scares in the houses. And in past years, it has been like you are really herded through like bumper to bumper. And it's kind of difficult to look around. But this year there was like a lot more space. I feel like it was easier to like sort of walk through a little slower and look around. Like nobody was telling you to like, move on or whatever. So I really thought that it was a little more immersive this year. And I really appreciated that a lot. So you mentioned House of a Thousand Corpses and you were really excited to see like characters from that movie. So let's talk a little bit about, before we dig into our favorite houses, let's talk a little bit about what were some of your favorite standout, just individual scenes and characters from all the houses.
I like that they incorporated technology in a couple of the houses. Like they had the projectors, especially the graveyard one. And even walking into that graveyard one, which was one of the original houses, it was a creepy graveyard at night. It felt really, really cool to walk in there. So that was a cool scene to experience because you all of a sudden are transported into this creepy graveyard. And back in Fort Smith, we've got the witch's grave and you go with your friends and you stick your arm through the iron bars and trying to have the courage to do that. And that's kind of what the whole theme of the haunt was about, was like the graveyard games.
Yeah, it was like a legend about the graveyard.
And so we have our own back in Arkansas. So it was kind of fun to relate it to that. But they had incorporated like social media throughout. And this girl was like dead, I guess, but she had her mom on FaceTime and the mom saying, are you okay? Are you okay? So that was neat to incorporate like the modern technology into a haunt.
Yeah, I didn't expect that until when we were standing in line and they had like the scrolling feed. I was like, what is this? So it's kind of like a creepypasta or like a one of those viral things where teenagers are like, oh, did you see the woman in the graveyard? I thought that was really cool.
I thought what really stood out to me too was they went above and beyond on all of the sets. Like I thought, like as you're walking in, it wasn't, everything was well done and excellently done, and the details of each house that we went into. Of course, we didn't make it to every one of them. So without trying to single out one house, that being an overall overview, I thought that the attention to detail for for the whole project. That whole theme of every house was just amazing. And then also, I thought that the scare zones were really cool, especially as the lights went down. And, you know, of course, when you're walking through, it's easy to see everything and everybody that's jumping out. But I thought the Zombieland scare zone or whatever, I thought that was really awesome.
Yeah.
And the Rob Zombie, you know, it was like walking through one of his music videos, basically. But also the way they did the fog, the smoke, so you knew you were kind of walking into something. And I thought that was really cool, too.
Yeah. I think a couple standout little moments for me were one in the Yeti house when you first walked in, it was snowing.
Loved it.
And they did something similar with the Silent Hill house a few years ago. And in both of those houses, like when you walk in, it's in one of the big warehouses. So it just like the ceiling's way up and the snow's coming down. And I was like, oh, I just want to stand here for a little bit, you know? And then I really loved the fashion show scare zone, that first one we walked through. And then when we walked back out, it was in full force. And I've never seen them do a scare zone like that before. It was it was like a high-end fashion show, but everybody was like dead. And they had an MC like narrating it. It was great. It was just
they had the plastic surgeon over there.
Yeah, and they had a plastic surgeon. So all the models had like jacked up faces from this demented plastic surgeon, but their outfits were all amazing. I was like, give me an outfit. Like, I want to walk. Yeah.
I want in.
Yeah. Okay, so this is the big one then. What was your favorite house, if you can even pick one?
I think for me, of course, I obviously loved The House of a Thousand Corpses, and especially going into that one first. A lot of it, too, is because, you know, you've watched the movie so many times. The Us house that we went into was awesome. We went and seen that movie.
Great.
And obviously with all the characters and the way that they relived the film, like you were in the film. But I think my favorite was the Yeti house.
Yeah.
I loved the snow. I loved it took you into a different place because everything was frozen. Everything was snowy. It was like you're in the mountains in this cabin and you've been snowed in or whatever. The scares in that one were really cool.
Yeah. And there was even the Yeti was walking like up way above the crowd at some points. And like if you weren't really paying attention, you would miss it.
Yeah, and he would screaming down. But yeah, the little snow, it was that one to me looked like it. Not that all of them didn't have a lot of detail, but that one you had to pay attention to the most detail to make everything look exactly, almost like editing a film frame by frame. It had every piece had to be put together really well.
I have to agree because most haunted houses are all black and dark and they take advantage of the dark. And so the fact that they were able to do an amazing job with an all white haunted house, the entire thing was white. It was snow.
Right.
You went through a few cabins and such, but for the most part, it was a white interior haunted house. And the fact that they were able to like provide so many scares and so much like tension, it was so fun.
Yeah.
I don't know if maybe I had the least expectation of that one going in, and that's why it surprised me the most. But I think the Yeti was my favorite one.
I think I only knew the Yeti from a ride too, or something, and that's why I was surprised by it. But at the same time, nostalgia, the Universal monsters. I mean, that's probably...
That one was great.
Yeah, that one was really, really, really well done. And of course, those characters, I've got them all tattooed on me. So, and then the Ghostbusters house was...
That was super nostalgic.
Yeah, you're reliving your childhood, and
and that was the last one we did. So I thought that was kind of nice that we ended on sort of like more of a fun note on our way out. Like that was really great.
Like that one wasn't a scary.
Although I think my biggest jump of the night came from the final Slimer because I thought it was over.
And she's dancing,
and
on the
I
way
was
out.
like, they're doing the Ghostbusters song, and I was dancing. I knew the night was over, and all of a sudden he jumped out and got me, and that was my biggest scare of the entire night.
Was Slimer
at the end.
Oh, that's so great. Yeah. I think my favorite was House of a Thousand Corpses, which is strange for lots of reasons because I'm not the biggest Rob Zombie fan, which T loves Rob Zombie. So
yes,
I was really, really happy that you guys came this year because I don't think they've ever done any of Zombie stuff before. So I was like, we have to do it because I knew you guys would love it. And I've never seen House of a Thousand Corpses. I've seen Devil's Rejects. So I'm familiar with like a lot of the characters, but I've never seen House of a Thousand Corpses. So that was the first one we went in though. And I thought it was fantastic. Like it just, even like from when you first walk in, the guy who was playing Captain Spaulding was great. And it was really long. Like it felt like a very long house to me.
It was a throwback to your old haunted houses too, like your Texas Chainsaw Massacres.
It did,
and,
yeah. It
you know,
felt and
chopping people up on a table.
and I do feel like the detail was really neat. And I think there were probably maybe 4 different sections of that house, and each one felt just fantastic. And then when you got to the end and they had like the Dr. Satan character, like it was really scary. It was creepy. And so I was pleasantly surprised, and I think that has taught me in the future when I have to pick houses, like maybe go to some that I wouldn't ordinarily pick, because I thought that one was really great.
I'm not sure I would have picked Yeti.
Yeah,
honestly,
because that was one I wanted to do, because I love the Yeti, I love the Wendigo, any of that like Arctic, far north, like.
See, I'm so southern, and I don't like snow, and I don't like winter, and so to me it was like, and then I loved it. So
I guess
same theory for me.
The tip of the day is go with a group. So you have to do houses you wouldn't normally pick.
Absolutely.
And it was fun going as a group in general anyway.
Yeah.
Playing catch up. You're standing in line, so you're able to have conversations. You're able to, and we went with a couple other of your friends too.
Yes.
And we had just a super good time. It was almost like we'd known each other for years.
Yeah.
And so that, that's always draws the time.
Right. Well, because David and I have almost always gone just the two of us. My mom came one year, and so we usually like splurge and get the express passes. And so this year I was actually like, oh, well, we haven't gotten to have really good conversation and catch up in a while, so it'll be nice to actually stand in line together. And I think the longest we waited was like 45 minutes, and they all went by really fast because we were all visiting and just having a good time.
Yep.
Yeah.
It really did go by fast. That was surprising. And we walked over 7 miles. So we got a good work on
it.
We
did. And like you said, like when we first came in, we got there right when it opened, which like you should just try to do that in general, I think, because you get excited standing in line and then they open the gates and it's a big deal.
Because even though it's light outside, once you get into the house, it's dark. So you forget, and then all of a sudden you're in this dark, scary, haunted house.
And when you first get there, I mean, like, you're going fast, and then, like, as the night goes on, you just, like, the urgency sort of leaves, and you're like, oh, we'll just shuffle to the next house. So, yeah, that, we were feeling that 7 miles, but it was definitely worth it. So, let's look to the future a little bit. If you were to come back to Halloween Horror Nights again, which hopefully you will get to, and we'll get to go together again someday, what movie or show or whatever horror property would you love to see turned into a house?
Well, I Veronica had mentioned an idea that I, of course, agreed with. But then as we were talking about this and going through this process, I've had this flood of thoughts.
Oh, nice.
And
you got a couple.
So, yeah, I got a couple.
All right.
I have, well, I'll go ahead and say yours if that's okay. So we were thinking that a cool haunted house or maybe a scare zone or however that would work would be The Interview with a Vampire.
Yeah, that would be great.
Kind of New Orleans big houses, or you're overseas, however you make that European look. And so I thought that would be a cool one. And then going back to my youth, my very first scary guy that scared me was Freddy Krueger. So maybe there's this boiler room house, or something like that, where you've got kind of flames and steam and
Can
maybe
you have the Freddy where his arms are
stretched out?
These shadows.
I used to run from my girlfriend Lisa's house every day. Like when I'd had to leave her house, and the fear that Freddy was chasing me home. That was my motivation.
Yes.
That was my motivation to run as fast as I could to get between our three houses away.
So
I feel like surely they've done a Freddy house, but I don't like. I just in my memory, I can't recollect one. So I don't. Maybe they're having a hard time like getting the rights to that or something.
Well, maybe
but that
you do
would be
like
great.
the Nancy's house, but then it turns into the boiler room or however.
Oh yeah, you could do so much cool stuff with like the dream
bathtub.
logic of all that. Oh yeah, the bathtub.
Ooh.
There's lots of cool stuff.
And then my third thought was taking it a different twist. maybe doing something like Event Horizon, where it's a spaceship, where you walk into the spaceship, and it's, you're going into the seventh world of hell or whatever.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
What's that scary alien movie in Snowflake, Arizona?
Oh, A Fire in the Sky.
Fire in the Sky, yeah, like any of the alien movies.
Yeah, I feel like they don't do a ton of sci-fi. Like that could
but
be
Event
really
Horizon
cool.
was really considered a horror film.
Yeah.
And I feel like that would be, and you're secluded in this spaceship, like there's nowhere for you to go.
Well, I heard that they're developing an Event Horizon TV show, so maybe we'll get to see it.
All right, well, that's my thoughts.
All right. What about you, Veronica?
Well, because I love dogs so much, Cujo.
Oh, yeah.
Big animatronic.
Yeah. Cujo. Yeah. I'm like, wait, they should just do like the whole Stephen King house. And
That
just
would
Oh,
be
man.
fantastic.
different, all the different ones. You don't have to do just Cujo. You can have all the
Yeah,
Stephen
the Cujo,
King.
you just walk into a car.
You're just stuck
Are you
there.
kidding? Cujo used to be under my bed. when I was a kid. Okay, but my first thought was The Conjuring. Conjuring was like one of the scariest movies that I've actually seen, or Amityville Horror.
Ooh.
Yeah, that'd be a great
Even the
little double
remake
feature.
was super good.
Yeah, those would be great. I feel like I've thought about this a lot, and I'm not really sure. I've seen so many that were so good and that I love. Like the last time we went, they did The Shining and The Exorcist the same year, and it was amazing. But last night, Natalie and I were walking through the gift shop or whatever, and they had a big like display from The Fly, and I was like, ooh, wouldn't that be a cool one? Like, I feel like with all the different like stages of his decay and the cool green like pods and all of that, I was like, that might be a really cool one, The Fly, for sure.
Ooh.
Nice.
I mean, you could even go to Shaun of the Dead. You could do some horror comedy. Maybe Young Frankenstein.
Yeah, it is always fun when they do those that are a little more silly.
Or The Cabin in the Woods, and like actually have all the different.
That would be great because there's such different sets that you could really make some
like the
interesting
whole elevator
changes.
scene with all the different scary guys.
Yeah.
We do love horror comedies.
Yeah. I feel like there's at least one that's a little more lighthearted every year. Of course, this year we got Ghostbusters, and then they had Killer Clowns, which we didn't make it to,
No, we
but
didn't make
I
it
can
to
imagine
that
that was probably pretty fun, kind of bonkers.
Yeah.
The
yeah.
Roman one was probably really cool. And what else did the one in the deep?
Oh yeah, it was Depths of Fear, I think, which I don't even remember what that one was about. Ocean stuff, I guess.
Yeah, I think, yeah.
So
Which could be pretty creepy.
So it'll be interesting to see what they do next.
Yeah, absolutely. Now that we've gone, I think I'll pay more attention now that I know like what it is and what it's all about. Because T and I even were saying on the way, knowing that we were going to go, I was like, man, it'd be fun to do a haunted house with Nicole and David. Wouldn't it be so fun? And then the fact that we got to do so many and ride the mummy.
Oh yes, yeah. So Veronica all night was like, gotta ride the mummy.
It was great.
Yeah,
that was so fun.
And even T liked it, and he doesn't like roller coasters.
That was created the most anxiety that we might get on a roller coaster.
And then you were like, I really liked it. I wish it was longer.
Yeah, it was a cool, and you're walking through the set of the mummy and all that stuff. It kind of gave, there's been so many people in our life over the years that have said, oh, you guys should do a White Collar Sideshow haunted house. And of course, where would you do that? Well, for us, we're from Fort Smith, Arkansas, so it would be cool to do something like that in our hometown, but you would have to dedicate your life to do it on that scale.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And then
so
come
much
up
work to a
with
haunted
different
house.
themes every year. But, maybe that's where we head as in our older age. I don't know what that looks like.
Just a bunch of pigs.
Yeah, I don't know. I think you guys could do it. So yeah, if you are ever want to take your spooky show off the road and bring it home, I think being haunters, I think it might be in your future.
Man.
So tell everybody where they can find tour dates, where they can download your music, where they can send support.
Easiest is just whitecollarsideshow.com. You can navigate through our whole website there, or just any Google search of White Collar Sideshow.
Google.
We're on all the music distribution platforms. And actually, in 2006, when T came up with the name White Collar Sideshow, it came from a band called Embodiment out of Texas. They had White Collar, and then Sideshow was 2 words as one of their lyrics, and Ty wanted to make it Sideshow, 1 word. So in 2006, when he told me that, I Googled, in parentheses, White Collar Sideshow, one word, and it came up with 0 results. Mm-hmm. So from 2006 on, anything that pops up has been us.
Spotify's, all the Pandora's,
socials.
everything.
All the socials.
Also,
I'm not great on Snapchat. I'm not real great on Twitter. I keep up with my Instagram and then our Facebooks. And then we try to keep up with our website. I have an email list, and I'll send out emails on occasion. And they're kind of the first to know of anything. If there's any big news, my email list will find out, and then everybody will find out a day or two later.
Yeah. So everybody check out White Collar Sideshow, and also they are completely support raised. They do not charge for shows. So check out their music, and if you like what you hear, and if you believe in what they do and think you're cool people like we do, then throw them some bones. Everybody is supporting somebody on Patreon and whatnot these days. So
we live and die by the tip jar. People's love and donations.
All right. Well, thank you so much, guys, for taking some time out to be a guest today. And so we'll see you next time.
Thanks, Nicole.
Thanks for tuning in. You can find the show on Instagram and Facebook at Light and Shadow Pod. Sign up to become a supporter on Patreon for early access to all episodes and more. Please rate, review, and subscribe to help other people find the show. Until next time, stay spooky.
Let me ask you a question. A very serious question. Have you ever danced with the devil in the pale moonlight?
Got a Civil War state of mind where my heart keeps fighting my head. I feel ashamed all of the time when I trampled all over the dead. Got a lot of blood on my hands and a bunch of teeth on my fist. Ribs and face are all smashed in, so messed up I couldn't resist. I didn't come here to die, just remember what I said. Wanna live a white life, better open up your head. Rotted brain has been waiting for that, I bleed the bed. I've seen the devil's fingernail on top of Fort Smith. Got a Jezebel state of mind. It's a cancer that I can't trace. You see the Reaper, he's a counting time. Slow death, what a twist of fate. I took a long and winding road just to find this filthy place. Mistakes I can't control. Can't feel my soul cause I think it's been laced. I didn't come here to die, just remember what I said. Wanna live a white life, better open up your head. Rotted brain has been waiting for that, I bleed the pit. I've seen the devil's fingernail on top of Fort Smith.
Have you ever danced with the devil in the pale moonlight? Have you ever danced with the devil in the pale moonlight? Let me ask you a question. A very serious question. Have you ever danced with the devil in the pale moonlight?
You see, my demons are a big and tall, and the end could be getting near. And with my last breath, who will I call? Cause it's God's face that I fear. It could be discipline that I need when my head's wrapped blue and gray. I wanna fight my dirty Smith. I didn't come here to die. 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 I've seen the devil's fingernail on top of Fort Smith.